Hello there, it's me, Sari here again, and today I'm here trying to make something out of a canvas with a little bit of corrugated cardboard, a die-cut word out of note paper, perhaps some roses, perhaps they might be pink in the end, a bit of paper that I have started embossing on and colouring it in with some Distress Oxide worn lipstick ink. I've also glued down a piece of an old book page paper onto a bit of a carton just to make it a bit more sturdy, and I have added on a stencil from Crealies, and I have just inked it up like this, poured on some see-through clear embossing powder and heat set it so you can see that there are some hearts there. So I thought that I'd show you how I made this, where I used this stencil from Crealies. So I'm thinking that perhaps I'll keep this canvas in a sort of a Shabby Chic pinky, on a Shabby Chic pinky note. So let's see, now this baby wipe is from yesterday, so it's a bit dry, but I'm hoping I'll be able to just smudge all of this out there, and then I'll take out another baby wipe just to be able to bring out the embossing itself. Oh my goodness, all of it just went away. That was not my purpose now, was it? So, at it again. And you know what? I'm thinking that perhaps I should just let it be like it is. And perhaps I'll paint it with gesso later on. So I'm thinking of, as I said, creating something with a sort of a mixed media feel to it. I'm just a little bit bewildered by the fact that, well, I was able to take away the ink from the embossed areas here. But here I just wiped off everything, so perhaps I had a bit more heavier hand this time. So let's see where I should get started. So I haven't planned this that well, as you can see, but I have started having some thoughts in my head. I would like to point out to you that I did have a bigger piece of paper from the get-go, and then die cut it with a stitch die from Crealies. And while I have the dies here, I might just show them to you. So I used this die with a stitch. I love these stitch dies. And then I also used a stitch die to die cut this one, because this one is a double stitch die. It gives it a stitch both on the inside but as well on the negative space on the paper. So you can see there's a bit of stitching there. So if I would like to use the negative space, I'll get stitches on both sides, and I do like that fact. And then I have gotten myself some new dies as well, and I started working with them yesterday. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. This one is called Just Circles, and this one is called Just Squares, and they look like this. And I cut it out once, and this is what I was left up with. And I thought if I could make myself a template for a stencil, then I could use it. And I did the same thing with this one. And my thought is that perhaps I'll be able to use this, incorporate this into this canvas somehow. So instead of using a regular stencil out of plastic, I could make myself my own with dies like that. And having used it, and perhaps even has some gesso or something on, I could create a pattern out of it just using my scissors, cutting off a bit here and there. So I could make a sort of punchinella look with this one. And this one could be something mosaic looking perhaps. Let's see where I'll end up. And I had to keep the leftover pieces from the die cut pieces because I could create texture with these as well. I could do a bit of stamping on them if I wanted to. So there's a lot of things I could do with these things. Hopefully I'll be able to use some new stamps as well. So let's see where I'll end up. Let's see. So this is actually the basis and the base for it. So what I need now is texture paste of sorts. So, let's see, I just found something here. Dreamweaver. I bought this years ago and I haven't used it, I'm sure. Crackle embossing paste. Lid is, well, I have used it actually sometime. So let's see. My thought is to just pick up something, and the good thing is that it actually is in a really good form. So I haven't ruined it by not using it. So I'm just going to put it, line it up against the edge there. And I'm going to put on a generous amount there, and perhaps a little bit here. It's good to have it along the side, because then I'm making sure that it's going to end up along that side. I'm going to lift it up and just look at that height. It's pretty high, I must say. So it does look rather nice. So perhaps I could stay within the square shape today. I'm going to put it here. Lift it up a little bit there. Put on some more. Perhaps there. And I might as well just wipe off the excess that I have on the stencil, because otherwise I'll just have a lot of work cleaning it up. So I just might as well use it there. Just look at that really nice way to create a stencil of your own. And mostly I just think about, you know, I don't want those pointy bits there, do I? Well, it's going to be what it is. It's nice to actually put on some texture on the sides as well. So I'm going to repeat this process, and since I'm right-handed, I don't know why I keep it on the left side. So I'm thinking that I want to keep it cohesive, so I'm just going to add on something on the corner there, like so. Lift it up, and I'm going to use it on this corner as well. And I'm thinking that since this stencil is made out of paper, it won't last, so I might as well just use it and perhaps incorporate this, perhaps not on this project but some other projects. Now of course I can't put this one down like so, so I have to be a bit careful of what to do and where I'm going to do it, because otherwise I'll just smudge it up. So I might put something here perhaps, trying to keep it in place. And I might as well just clean off the stencil like this now, mightn't I? It does look rather nice, doesn't it? Just look at that texture. I'm not sure about the drying time actually. It might be a bit. Doesn't say, does it? Well, it dries in 2 to 3 hours, but I'm thinking I'm hoping I'll be able to speed up the process with my heat gun. So I think I'll just try to do a little bit of cleaning like this. There's a little bit of texture. I might as well just try to find the pattern again, like so. So let's see, this is going to be a real-time video, I must tell you. So if you are not into looking at me heat embossing or drying things, just fast forward, won't you? But mind you, there might be things that I'm talking about in the meanwhile, so you might miss out on things. I'm just going to see if I could start drying this one up a little. And now I'm thinking of it, I would, let's see, it's dry to the touch, isn't it? So I might as well just put something, because I do have something here and I have something here. So I'm thinking of, well, this one really isn't there where it should be, but I'm going to put something here. So just to create that shape of it. I hope you get what I mean. So using a spatula like this is really useful because, I mean, it's really easy. I like working with a spatula. Or a canvas knife, or what you call it. And just trying to make a sort of a triangular shape out of this. Uneven, of course, it needs to be uneven. It shouldn't be perfect. Lift it up. So there we have it. So that looks rather nice, I must say. And I'm going to wipe off this one again. It's really important to get it dry, because otherwise you'll end up with some residue and it might be a little bit more difficult to get it clean. So on with the lead. So there we have it. So let's see. In my head, I was thinking that I could put this one here, but I'm thinking of actually painting this one with white gesso, just to shabby chic it up a little. And I'm thinking of making this into a spiral flower, so I might as well just get that one going, mightn't I? Let's see. I'm just going to start my glue gun here. So in order to create a spiral flower, I'm just going to cut it and make it into a snake, sort of. A curled up snake. And since I'm cutting it rather big, you're going to understand it's going to be quite high, a flower. Just going to cut off a little bit there. So if I had cut it thinner, I would have been getting a much wider flower. In this case, I'm getting a rather big flower. Perhaps that's what I'm looking for, I'm not sure. So in this case, I'm going to be needing, I could actually use a brush like this. And I'm just going to start rolling it like this. And then I'm going to take it off. And I'm going to continue with my fingers. And there are dies for this if you want to use them, and they are cut widely like this. So the difference of cutting it wide like this is, of course, that you're going to get a high flower. And if you're cutting it thinner, you're going to have to roll it longer, of course, but it's going to be rather fancy looking, I must say. It's going to be really fancy looking. I might give you a chance of showing you that, perhaps. And the thing is, I'm here now, so if I'm going to make it up like this, it's going to be rather high and tight, but if I'm going to release it, let's see what happens. Ta-da! So now I'm getting a really nice flower, and all I have to do is wait for the glue gun, put on a dabber there, and just keep it up like that. And that is going to give me a really nice flower, don't you think? So that's the thing I could do just by adding on some embossing powder on through a stencil. So that's something I was hoping to actually be able to work with. So I'm thinking perhaps these could look nice, I'm not sure. Perhaps the beige flowers would be good after all, having done this. So let's see what I'll end up. I'm planning on using some string here as well, so I might as well just do that before. I'm just using some coarse thread here, or string. It looks like this jutesnöre in Swedish. I'm not sure if it's called jute in English, I'm not sure. I don't think it's called jute. It's something jute, something coarse. And I'm just keeping something in the back so I have something to tie it up with. And I'm going to roll it over. I think it's going to be 4 times or something. Something like that. And it's always nice to go back to see just how it's going to look. It's alright, isn't it? It's going to be visible here and there, so it's just there to create something. And you see, it would have been good for me to just wait a little longer. I'm not sure where I got it from. Well, so I'm just going to tie a knot here. And perhaps cut off the excess of these so they won't poke out. So here we are with that. It's a little bit coarser string that I have used since compared to the other ones that I've used before. So I'm just going to keep it here now. And I'm just going to give you a tip on how to make a really funky thing out of string. I like this method a lot. Since this one is double, I mean it has two pieces, so I can actually just take one and take it away. So I had the other piece somewhere else, but in this case I'm just going to hold on to one side and I'm going to pull it. And when I'm pulling it, it's going to create this. And when I separate it, it's going to give me a really nice effect. So now I have to be able to tie it up. So I'm just going to do my best. Tie both of these strings so I can actually secure them, so it's not going to run anymore. So I'm just going to hold on to that one there. And I'm just going to run it again, make it a little bit looser like this. And I'm going to tie a knot here just in case. And if I want to, I can take the other string here. I'm just thinking what could be the best idea to do. Well, I could actually do another one, couldn't I? So I'm just going to take one of them, keep the one in my hand and let the other one run like this. So I could actually get myself a second one from the same string. I'm just going to tie a knot like this. Like so. So I can have this one perhaps for another project. So in this case I'm actually free to cut it. I'm not sure. I had to have something to tie it with as well. So I need to think a little so I get the correct one. This one is the one. I'm sort of feeling the tension of it. So I just need to cut the right one, don't I? So if I'm going to cut this one, you know, yeah, the thing is, I do want a little bit on both of them, so I'm just going to take it a little bit longer here. So this is the one, so I'm going to cut that one, aren't I? Yes, I'm going to cut it there. So now it's loose and I need to cut that one as well, of course. But I need to make sure that I'm making a knot here, so it's not going to run on me. I'm getting a sort of a spiral thing like that, and of course I could tidy it up a little like that. And the same thing goes with this one. I do like these a lot, can't help it. So if I want to, I could take off the other one. I could just have the one thin here. Since I have them tied up, it doesn't matter which one I want to cut off. Like so. So I have something, if I wanted to put on top, I could do that with that one. And with that one as well, because I do have a knot there and I don't tie. So I could actually just relax and keep that one later. So that's a little bit something outside the box. Just going to find my glue gun here just to see if it is hot enough. So I have my loosened spiral flower here. And I'm just thinking that there's no need to force it to go anywhere else than it wants to. So I'm just going to put on some glue like so and put it in there, and make sure that you're getting the centerpiece there as well. and just push it a little. I do like these spiral flowers. And remember, you can actually create them how tight or loose you want to. I'm just going to cut a sort of a circular shape here, just to show you what a difference one can make. Just by cutting it thinner. So I'm going to cut it really thin now. And you need to leave something as a base for the glue to sit on. So I'm just going to take a brush again, and I'm going to start rolling it like this with that one. And you could of course go all the way with it if you want to, but I like using my fingers. It's sort of therapeutic to just stand here and do it for a little bit. In the meanwhile, one might think about things one needs to do later on, or just take the time to pause a little. Just focus on one thing. And I'm just making sure that this hand is actually doing the work, and then this one is just keeping the roll in its place. And I think it's rather fun to actually use these old pieces of book pages and things. So if you find a really torn and worn book at a flea market, just go ahead and get it. I mean, there's no shame in cutting it or using it. Actually, you're just honoring it in my book. Ha, in my book. So, this is as it is. If it's going to be really tight, I'm going to see if I can let it run free. And just look at that. Really fun. So I'm just going to add some glue down here, just trying to keep it in place, and add on some glue at the bottom like so, and do your gluing. You might burn yourself, so be patient and be careful. And actually the glue does run up a little. And then just look at that, for goodness sake. And the threads. They are surely challenging me today, aren't they? So if you see that it's not going to stay together, you might perhaps either leave it as it is, because it's going to stay together all the same, or you could actually put in a bigger bit for the base if you wanted to, just to make sure. So you might cut it by freehand like this, make a circle of sorts, just to have a bigger place to put it on. It needn't be too big, but it might be big enough to actually fit the flower, so you can get a little bit more grip to it. And the same thing, of course, the threads and the burning factor. Like so. It didn't help that much, but I hope you get the idea anyway, so you could actually try rescuing it later on. Perhaps this one needs a little even bigger base, or I'm thinking I'll be able to stick it down to the canvas later on. So now I have threads all over the place. So I think I'll start by, I'm thinking that I might do a good enough job sloppily gluing this down. I'm thinking of using a little bit of corrugated cardboard leftovers. I do have something here. It doesn't have to be fancy, you see. I just want something to tuck underneath here, and I'm actually going to use the glue gun that I didn't switch off, fortunately. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of glue there, just so I can build up the height, because the strings are there, where they are. Just going to do it like so, and I'm hoping I'll be able to keep it sort of flat there. And then of course there's the question of, will the hot glue stay well enough on canvas? I'm not sure. So should I take precaution and use some liquid glue together with some quick hot glue? I'm going to put a little bit there as well, just to be on the safe side. And I'm using a Turbo Tacky glue from Crealies. And just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to add on a bit of this, just to tie it down, and I'm hoping that the liquid glue will keep this in place in the long run. So I'm just going to glue it down like so. And then I have this one, and I'm thinking it's nice to have some height for that one as well. So I might actually go for this one. What would happen if I were to use this one? I could actually get the effect that I want. So, and since this one is corrugated, it's not going to have as many gluing points as I would like to. So I'll be definitely using this here, just to ensure that I have something to stick it on. But I'll be bold enough to use this one as well. So I'm hoping this one will make sure that it's going to stay in place. And then I could feel free to add on this glue, because this one is going to stick. Paper to paper is all right, isn't it? So there we have it. I have those. And what I could do now is start thinking about gluing a little bit with some white gesso. Not gluing, painting, I'm sorry. And then of course I could have a little bit of thinking while I'm at it. Let's see if I could show you what I'm thinking of. So if I'm going to take this template, I haven't used it yet now, have I? So perhaps I should just go with this one. This is going to give a sort of interesting texture to it, because it has the leftover crackle embossing paste. So I'm thinking, should I just try to cut it there? I'm just going to cut it randomly like this, not knowing really where to go, but trying to create something out of this. You see, this is going to be rather fantastic, isn't it? So one could actually use it as it is, just have it poking out somewhere. So I'm going to continue cutting away those, and I do like having the edge there as well. But now of course I need to think about in which direction do I want things to go. I think I would like this one to be there, but the thing is, should I have it just here a little bit? Then I could actually just cut it off there, couldn't I? And save the other bits for later, for some other project perhaps. And you know what? I'm just thinking, well, let's see, if I'm going to put this one there, the one benefit of this is actually I'm going to bring down the pinkness, and I could just have these flowers here perhaps somewhat, somehow, and I could perhaps even add on a proper paper rose. Just trying to find the one that is loose. So that could actually work, couldn't it? But I did have some other roses here, and come to think of it, I also have these. I'd really like these. Ömhet, tenderness. Yeah, I actually did have a thought about bringing a string into this, so perhaps I should skip this So tenderness, this one means love, it's the same thing. So love here in English, kärlek in Swedish. And then we have happiness, glädje, joy. But perhaps the kärlek one could be rather nice. I do like the round shape of this, you see. And it's nice to try things together, isn't it? So, if I'm going to put that one there, I need to make sure that I will be able to see everything. I could, of course, just cut this one off, keep the circle as a separate decoration, and try to perhaps use the love word there. That could be easier. So perhaps I'll try that, but I'm thinking I need a really thin pair of scissors or something, because I don't want to destroy this now, do I? Perhaps I need to go and get myself a knife or something. I'll give it a go with my cutter bee scissors from EK Success. Just going to snip them off like that. So, now I have this one. And you know, I'd come to think of it, I do have a die as well that makes this sort of decoration. So now I'm really getting the hang of things, aren't I? So just having something to break things off like this gives me the freedom of actually placing these here. And I'm thinking of cutting away the green bit there, because I don't want that to take over. Although I would have liked to have the spiral, of course, but I'm thinking perhaps I could make it work like this. Perhaps I could still have the love word there, because I do like the font and everything on that one. Or I could try to make it work like this. I mean, I think I might be getting somewhere. Not too bad. So now I could take out the gesso and everything, just to see where I can end up with things. And, I mean, I do have some other things. Let's see. You know, I'm that kind of a hoarder. I just get things and I don't use them. So perhaps I should go all in and use more of these things. The good thing about having veneer decorations like this is that they don't weigh much. They're not going to add on too much weight. So I'm thinking that perhaps I should go for these. I do have some keys as well if I would like to use a key. And there are other possibilities here, but I do like to use these, or just imagining myself using them anyway. So let's see. I'll keep them there just to remind myself, and I need to go back to where I'm talking about, gesso. This gesso is a little bit thick, so this one is glued down. I'm just going to add on. You know what, I need to think about how it's going to look. So I'm just going to add on, something to create the texture of the corrugated cardboard, and just to bring this one down a little perhaps. And it doesn't matter if it's uneven here and there. It might be thick in places and it doesn't have to be in all over the place. Because I really do like corrugated cardboard, so I'm not afraid of using it, as you see. So I think I'll just pause and have a look-see. What does it look like? I mean, the canvas is white. I'm not afraid of actually incorporating this here. What I'm thinking of, though, is perhaps I should cut this into a rather more interesting shape. So I'm thinking of cutting it like that. and just leaving it like that. Perhaps it'll be more easy on the eyes, you see. And since I do have this, I'd like to work with this. Perhaps I should add some gesso on these as well, I'm not sure. Perhaps it's going to be better that way. Just to tie them together with the canvas as it's itself. I'm not sure if I should add some white to this one as well. So, and I'm thinking that one could be as it is. So let's see. I had thought of using this set of stamps from Crealies, 62 it's called. I was hoping I'll be able to stamp with it. I have to figure out which colour. I'm thinking of just using the one with the two there. Put them back there. So the question is, how am I going to stamp with it? And in which colour? And which ink? I'm thinking that perhaps the pink worn lipstick or Distress Oxide wouldn't be that bad. Perhaps I could have it on the sides. Just to tie it up a little. So I'm just going to add it on there, just to see how it's going to stamp. I see I'm out of frame just a little. So here I am with the stamp. Oh! Wasn't too bad now, was it? Imagine that. Just going to put something here. Why am I making it so difficult for me? I mean, sometimes I really do like stamping with the ink on the stamp, but in this case I'm just going to go like this. And I'm holding it a little bit longer there, just to make sure that it's going to stay there. That was a rather nice idea, I must say. And it doesn't have to be perfect, so it's alright, I mean, if it's going to be a little bit torn and worn like that. I'm going to put it there, and the stamp in itself is like that, I see. So the question is, should I just suffice with them on the sides, or should I dare to go here? I could, of course, you know what, come to think of it, I could, of course, do it like this. If I don't want it to be as bold as it is, I could stamp it off once and put it there. Now the tricky part is when you're using a canvas, since it's sloping like this, it might not be perfect, but you see, it did give a good impression there anyway. So I'm just going to go there, stamp it off once, and perhaps I'll put it here then, on the edge there. I think that's going to do it. I'm going to stamp it off and put it in its pocket. Otherwise I don't know where it's going to end up. Like so. So it was 62, wasn't it? So there we have it. I'm going to put that on there. Perhaps I'm ready to start gluing things down more properly. But the thing is, I'm thinking that this one is going to be a little bit too floppy. So I need to start the glue gun again. You know what, I've just came to think about, should I add this one there as well? Oh, I think it's going to be too much, of course. because that could be a way to keep it in place now, couldn't it? Perhaps that one is too long and that one is too bulky, I think. But because at first I was thinking that perhaps I could have it here, but I think it's better to just keep things in one direction. So if I were to put this one there, I could actually keep things down like that. I could still fit the roses and everything here. I'm just learning to dare to not have everything visible, just to have the courage to actually hide things here and there, just to let the eye find them one by one, perhaps not at the same time. So I'm thinking, could this be something I could be happy with? Well, I think it's rather, I do believe I'm going to go there actually, because if I'm not going to use this string, I could go for, let's say, paper straws or something similar, but I'm going to go here with this one, because then of course it could be nice to have, let's say, pink paper straws. Let's see if I have one. These are a little bit too pink in my book, but of course I could paint them down, make them more shabby. So there could also be a possibility on a thing like this, but I'm going to go for that bit. But before I do that, I'm going to glue these down, just to make it easier for me. I'm sort of liking this. And I'm sort of thinking that the pink doesn't bother me that much. I'm not a pink person per se, but I do like to make things pink. So I'm just going to try to glue this one down a little. Let's see if I can give it something to stick onto. But then again, if I can think about it, I did have something underneath. Well, the string is going to keep it down, so let's not make things too complicated. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to add on some glue here. I don't think it needs to be completely glued down. I just want to give it a little bit of a help to stay in place. And I do like the texture of this because it has that grit paste or the crackle embossing paste on it. And then I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm getting the most decorative pieces here as I can. Because of course I could have had a sort of thin thread or string, and I could have made a circle out of that one as well if I wanted to. So that one is glued down like so. Should I try to put that one there as well? Just to keep things down a little, help it out. Am I still out of frame? Well, it is what it is. So I'm thinking that since I'll be putting that string here, and that one is going to tie it down again also, I could actually just, because I'm going to put the roses here as well, they are going to keep this one down as well. So I'm just going to put here and there on top and at the bottom, and I'm going to use it like that. Because I don't want the glue to be visible that much now, do I? So, should I go for this one or should I go for that one? That's the question now. Do I want something big? I don't want that one there anyway. So I'm thinking perhaps it isn't too bad an idea actually to have a long one that could poke up like that. But then again, I forgot about myself when it came to the gluing bit there, didn't I? Should I put it in the center then? And I'm going to tie a knot, and I think it's going to be in the wrong way, so I just have to do something like this. I like this. Actually, I would have liked to take a picture of this, but it's okay. I'm not going to do that now. So I'm just going to glue these there. And I have the possibility of actually putting this one there, love. Is it going to be visible enough, or should I do something else with it? What I'm thinking of now is just to find a way to just perhaps then put some black around the edges of it or something similar, just to break up the word. Or should it be faint like it is? Or should it be with this one? This one is so fragile, you see. One could also try to put, it's going to get lost in the pattern there. You know, one drawback of course is I could actually place the flowers a little bit high because I want that to be more visible. So if I'm going to put it like that, it's going to be visible enough, I think. Of course I could have had, I'm not sure if I have it. I'm thinking of actually die cutting the word once more. Let's see. So many things that I need to move away before I can do something. So I'm just going to cut it once more, like this, because I don't want it to be a little bit more sturdy. So I'm going to go for some white fun foam. Something like this. So there we have it, and I'm thinking that I'll glue it down to the other. Now that I'm thinking of it, I could of course try to cut it out of another piece of paper as well, just to see if there's going to be a difference to the feel of it. So bear with me. If I want the height, it's better to go with this one. Then of course it's important to get it absolutely spot on top of the other. But since it's die cut out of fun foam, it might not be perfectly cut, and then it's going to look distorted. So I might luck out better with this one. And of course, come to think of it, I could have cut this out of, let's say, since it is white, should I benefit from it by using it as a shadow? Or will it do look? Let's see. Like that. Or just put it as a shadow. I'm not sure. I don't like that. Or I could go for the white altogether. Perhaps that's better. Well, I think I'll just glue the flowers down first. Goodness sake. All the cords and everything here, I mean, it's a real hassle somehow. I'm getting this one ready. So, I think I'll just glue this down. So I'm still struggling here of what to put where. The good thing about having a die-cut board like this is that you could actually put it here. Because this one would hide things too much now, wouldn't it? Although that could be an effect of things as well. Know what I'm thinking. The one drawback, of course, with this one is that it's just too high. Should I have it there then? I'm not sure. I haven't got any points to glue this one down on. I would need to cut that one down, I think, in order to be able to get it fastened to the other. Or should I just have it up there? In my book, it feels better to have it down here. It's getting more balanced in that way. I could actually start using the cogwheels so I don't forget about them. Just to give myself some time to think. Perhaps a couple of cogwheels could do the trick. Or perhaps not, let's see. Right, so there's two now, hoping I'll be able to keep them in place like that. And I'm not sure if I should have... I mean, I think it's all right to put something there. Well, I think that could be enough. I'm thinking here, if I put it there, it's almost going to be disappearing. If I were to ink it up in pink, This is sort of giving me a hard time still, so I'm going to add on some glue down here. Let's see if I can get it to stick there. Now it's better. Thank you. Do I have something else I could use? I have lots of roses and such, but I'm not in the mood for roses. This could be something. It's going to stand on its own, you see. It's not going to tilt over. That's a good thing. Thanks to the lightness of these things. I'm thinking that if I were to ink this one up in pink, I mean, is it enough like this? Perhaps it's enough. Perhaps it doesn't need anything else. I'm not sure. And then I'm thinking of, perhaps it needs a couple of blingy pearls or something, I'm not sure. Or should I just go for some... Oh, I could just... You know what? I just realised. Where do I have them? Well, since I don't have... I mean, you could go for some glassy half beads or something, but you could also go for... Let's see. Now it's sticking away here. If I were to put something there, that's rather nice, isn't it? So these are some really big half pearls. Of course you had to go upside down. Just has to. Actually managed to put it in there. Not too bad. Like so. And since I have two of them, I could actually go for a third one somewhere. I'm thinking of that visual triangle. Perhaps I should put it there somewhere. The thing is, I'm not sure. It won't be good there. I want the bases to be down here. You know what? I think I'll just keep it as it is. Something tells me that it's going to be all right. So here we have it, a project for Crealies, with a sort of a lovey-dovey, romantic, shabby chic looking thing and theme to it. And I'm going to sign off right now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.